All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to online training session day 6 Topology Optimization Part 2. In this session we will see some of the tutorials on topology optimization. This training series details we have covered day 1, that is theory of FEM. Then on day 2 I have discussed 1D meshing. In day 3 I have discussed 2D meshing. Day 4 I have covered 3D meshing. On day 5 I have divided the day 5 on 3 parts, that is part 1, part 2 and part 3, where I have discussed tutorials based on analysis and post-processing. Now on the day 6 I have divided the day 6 into 2 parts. Part 1 I have covered with some of the topology optimization tutorials, and today on part 2 I will cover rest of the topology optimization tutorials. And then later portions we will see how to perform topography optimization on the next day 7. On day 8 we will see size optimization, day 9 shape optimization, on day 10 we will end up with the composite optimization. So the topics which I am going to cover in today's training session are symmetry and draw direction applied simultaneously in topology optimization, topology optimization of a reduced model using DMIG card, topology optimization of a hook with stress constraint, topology optimization with exclusion constraints, frequency response optimization of a rectangular plate, topology optimization of excavator arm. So we will start with symmetry and draw direction applied simultaneously in topology optimization. The purpose of this tutorial is to demonstrate how to perform topology optimization on an automotive control arm with the simultaneous application of symmetry and draw direction constraints. This tutorial will use the same optimization problem considered in design concept of an automotive control arm, that is a tutorial which I have discussed earlier, except that a refined mesh will be used in order to better capture the effect of applying symmetry and draw manufacturing constraints simultaneously. The finite element mesh of the structural model containing the designable and the non-designable region along with the loads and constraints applied is shown in the figure, as you can see. The blue is the designable zone and the red one is non-designable. The optimization problem is stated as my objective is to minimize the volume. I have to decide my objective, that what is the objective of the optimization. Then the constraint that may be manufacturing constraints or the constraints which I want the optimized model should be following those parameters are, for the subcase 1, my resultant displacement on the point where the force is applied should be less than 0.05 mm. For the subcase 2, the resultant displacement of the point where the loading is applied must be less than 0.02 mm. And for the subcase 3, the resultant displacement of the point where the loading is applied must be less than 0.04 mm. My element density, design variables are element densities. So in this tutorials we will see how to define the symmetry and draw direction control parameters for optimization, and we will see the results in HyperView. So we will open the HyperWorks, select the user profile as OptiStruct. From HyperWorks 12, for static analysis and optimization, the solver has changed and it's clubbed into OptiStruct. So select the user profile as OptiStruct. As we have FEM file for this, as you can see, for this model we have .fem file, so we have to import the solver deck. So click on the import icon at the top here. On the drop box, select import solver deck. Select the file type as OptiStruct, that is the OptiStruct solver file. From the file, browse the file where you have saved that file. So I have saved it in online training session day 6. Symmetry and draw direction, this is the file, so click open. Keep all the parameters as it is and click on import. This will import my solver deck file, as you can see. You are able to see these mesh are in lines. So to see the mesh intensity, click on this icon, shaded element and mesh line. I will highlight it. Click on this icon. That is shaded element and mesh line. So you can see the elements in dense mode or the shaded modes. If you again want to see it lines, you can see it lines by clicking on the wireframe element mode. So there are different modes to view these elements. So as my model, in my model the loads and boundary conditions are already applied, so we will quickly check them. We'll start with NPCLL and then go further. So material is defined, property is defined, component is updated, load collector is defined and applied, load step is defined. Then, as this model is extension of the earlier tutorial file, so my basic optimization process is also defined. So design variable is defined, my responses are defined, volume and displacement, my constraints are defined, and the objective is also predefined. So I will just update the manufacturing constraint parameters, that is symmetry and draw direction, and rerun the same model. So how to import or how to add some of the parameters on the file, that we will see. So to add the parameters of topology optimization, we will go to analysis page. On analysis page, we will click on optimization. On optimization page, select topology optimization. My topology design variable is already predefined. So I will go to parameters directly and select the predefined design variable. Change the minimum dimensions off to minimum dimension and enter the minimum dimension value as 16. This forces the diameter or the thickness of any structural members to be higher than 16 mm. If this is not user set, OptiStruct will automatically select a minimum member size based on average mesh size if a manufacturing constraint is selected. So then click on update. Make sure whenever you change any parameters or draw direction, anything, you make sure click on update so that that parameter will get updated on that design variable. Then click on draw direction and select the draw type as single. So now we have to select a vector that defines the die draw direction. So we will select the anchor node as the bottom node and the first node as the top. This defines the positive Z direction. Now we will select the obstacle as non-design. So it will not remove the material from non-design. And click on update. So my parameter, draw direction parameter has been updated. Then we will go to pattern grouping and select one plane symmetry. The symmetric constraint in topology optimization leads to symmetry design for solid model regardless of the initial mesh, boundary conditions or loads. In this case, the one plane symmetry option enforces symmetry across a defined plane. The symmetric mesh is not required as OptiStruct will create variables that are nearly identical across the planes of symmetry. The plane of symmetry is defined by specifying the anchor and the first node. The plane of symmetry will then be perpendicular to the vector from the anchor node to the first node and passes through the anchor node. So we will click on anchor node and enter the value as 1, and first node enter the value as 2. So this is my symmetric axis point. So perpendicular to this plane it will create a symmetry. So however material he will remove, OptiStruct will remove from this portion, the same amount of material in the same pattern will get removed from this, and the axis is this. So along this axis it will have the symmetric removal of material along these two sides. Click on update to update the parameters. So I have put it two values, that is draw direction and symmetric pattern. Now we will save this file. And solve the model. So I will go to analysis page to solve this model. We will go to analysis page. On analysis page we will click on OptiStruct. Select the export option to all, run option to optimization. We will increase the memory as we have input some of the parameters. So I will increase the memory to 4 MB and click on OptiStruct. So this will open the solver window. Higher the RAM memory will increase the solver time. Will decrease the solver time. So whatever memory you have, the RAM memory, you can put half of this. So I have a 8 GB RAM, so I have put it 4 GB here. So this will take some time to solve. So now you can see the optimization has converged and feasible design, the message has appeared. We will see how much time it takes to solve this. So you can see it takes around 58 minutes to solve this problem. So if it's running, you should take some time to solve that. So you will now see the results of the manufacturing constraint parameters. So I will click on results to view the results in Hyperview of the manufacturing constraint, draw direction and symmetric patterns. So I will select, first I have to select the iteration to the last iteration, that is the 50th one. Then click on contour. So first we have to select the iteration and select the last iteration, whichever the last iteration is. Then click on contour to view the element density plot. So where is the dense elements and lesser dense elements, we will see that, the element density plot. So the blue region is the area from where we can scoop out the material, and the red area is the area from where we have to keep the material, which is required for this structure. Then we will click on ISO just on the right hand side of the contour plot, this icon ISO, to see the results after scooping out the material. So I will click on apply and change the current value to 0.3. So you can see, if I check the box on features and transparency, you can see this much amount of material it has removed. So if you want to see the material removed, after removing the material, how the model will look like, you can see this also in Hyperview. So my component will look like this if I scoop out the material from here, and will sustain my constraint, that is the displacement on the subcases of 0.5 and 0.2 and 0.4. That will also get sustained. So this much of material, this design will sustain the manufacturing constraints. And it is a symmetric removal of material. As you can see along this axis, the material is removed symmetrically. So it is quite easy to manufacture also. So we have to see after the optimization whether the component is manufacturable or not. If we remove the material and the manufacturing cost is increasing, then there is no point of doing the optimization. So the optimized material should have a proper manufacturing process. So it's easy to manufacture that component also. So you can see this, this is quite easy to manufacture the component. So I will close this. I will also click on new. Now we will move to the next tutorial, that is topology optimization of reduced model using DAMIG card. So in this tutorial, an existing finite element model of a simple cantilever beam will be used to demonstrate how to reduce the finite element model using static reduction, and also how to perform topology optimization on that reduced model. The full cantilever beam model without static reduction is shown here. The optimization problem may be stated as my objective of this optimization problem, the topology optimization objective, is to minimize the compliances. My constraint is that the upper bound constraint of 40% of the designable volume. My design variable are the densities of each element in the design space. So the part to be reduced out of the model through the static reduction model reduction technique is referred to as super elements. In this process, you will see how to create super elements also. In OptiStruct, ASET or ASET1 bulk data entries are required to indicate the boundary degrees of freedom of a super element, meaning the set of the degrees of freedom where the component being replaced by direct matrix input connects to a modeled structure. Both the accuracy and the cost of the static reduction increases as the number of ASET entries is increased. For example, by using static reduction, the size of the matrix to solve will become smaller. But if the reduction matrix DMIG is very dense, then the solution time will become larger than the solution time of the full model, where the matrix may be sparse. Hence, the selection of ASET entities is very important in performing an effective analysis using DMIG. In order to prevent the reduced matrix from being too dense, ASET entries are chosen carefully. Instead of creating ASET entries for all the boundary nodes between the design and non-design space, due to the small element size of the problem used for this tutorial, the selection of ASET entries may not affect the solution time. In this tutorial, we will see how to generate super elements, include the super elements in the model, set up the optimization in a model with super element, post-process the optimized results in Hyperview. So we'll open the HyperWorks Student Edition. First, you have to make sure that you have selected a correct user profile. So click on this icon to select the correct user profile, or if you are not getting this icon, click on Preferences, pull down menu, select the user profile. This is the same window. Select the user profile as OptiStruct and click OK. So this will load the user profile. So the related template and everything it will load. So we will see what is the type of model we are having. So you can see we have a HM file, so we can directly open the HM file here. So click on the open folder. Select the location. And open the HM file. So this is my model where we will see the reduced model using DMIG. So my first step is to generate the super elements. So we will create a set specifying boundary degrees of freedom of the super element assembly. So before that, we will just quickly check whether my material, property, component, load collector and load step is defined or not. So you can see on the model browser, everything is predefined. So we'll click on to create the super elements. First we'll click on load collectors. Enter the load collector name as ASETs. We will not select any card image, so we'll select no card image. Define a color and click on create. Then we will go to analysis page. Click on analysis page and select constraints. Make sure the create radio button is selected and select these nodes. Where we will define the ASET entities. So these are the areas where we are going to define the ASET entities for this model. Make sure all the DOFs are fixed or checked and select the type as load type. Select the load type as ASET. Select the load type as ASET. Click on create. So it will create the ASET entities. Click return to go back to the main menu. Then the next step is to delete the elements which will be retained in the subsequent optimization. The reduced stiffness matrix and the load vector will be generated for only those elements that will be reduced out, that is the super elements. Therefore, a new model need to be created containing just the super element part and the load and the boundary condition applied directly to that part. So, we will go to delete panel, this cross. If you click on this cross, you can enter to a delete panel or press F2 from your keyboard. If you press F2 from your keyboard, you can enter to delete panel. Click on this drop box and make sure you select element and delete these elements which we are going to convert it into super elements. So we are going to do optimization on this area. So we will delete this area and make it as a super elements, the connecting part. So my forces and constraints are on the different part, but I will use them by the help of super elements. So I will delete this portion. Click return to again go back to the main menu. Then we will define a parameter to write out reduce matrix for an external file. So the param x out bulk data entries is required to activate the matrix save process. Without this parameter, the run will process as normal. So this parameter has two options, DMIG PCH, which will save the matrix in an ASCII format to a .pch file, and DMIG BIN, which will save the matrix in a binary format to a .dmig file. DMIG PCH will be used for this tutorial. So we will go to analysis page to define these parameters. We will go to analysis page. On analysis page, select control cards. So we will input some of the control cards. Click on next. Again click on next and select param as the card first. We will check the box in front of X out. So we will scroll it down. It's an alphabetical order, so you can scroll it down and select X out. And select DMIG PCH from the options available. So there are two options available, DMIG BIN and DMIG PCH. So we want a PCH file, .pch file of the super elements. So that's why we are selecting DMIG PCH. Then click return. Again click return to go back to the main menu. Now we will save this file. So file, save as, model. Go to desktop tutorials. I'll create a new folder as tutorial 2 run 1. So before for the super element we'll run once, and for the optimization we'll again run it. So we'll save this file and run the basic analysis. So I'll go to analysis, OptiStruct, export option to all, run option. We will this time select analysis because we are not going to perform optimization on this. So we'll just select analysis. Memory option we will enter as 1 GB because it will solve much early. So I'll select 1 GB and click on OptiStruct to start the solver. So my job is completed. That my job is to generate the .pch file. I will show you. If I open tutorial 2 run 1, you can see the .pch file. This we will use for the super element part. So that file is generated now. Now I'll click on new and reopen this file. Now we will delete the super element part out of using DMIG. Since the matrix for the super element part will be replaced by DMIG, the world data entries for the nodes and elements as well as all the loads and boundary conditions that are in super element should be deleted. So we will delete the other portion of the part and keep only the super element portion. So I will delete the other portion. So we will delete this. We don't want this, so we'll delete it to reduce the size of my model. Now we will set up topology optimization with DMIG card. So first we have to bring down that PCH file of the super element. So I'll again go to analysis page. On analysis page I will click on control cards. On control cards I will select, go to next and select include bulk. And select the file or you can directly rename it as, you can rename, copy and paste this file. Either you can give the directory or you can just paste this file, either of the way. So the reduce matrix will be included in Radios input deck. Here we are assuming that the topology optimization will be run in the same folder as the original file. If you are planning to run in a different folder, then define the full path of this file. So then we'll click on return to go back to the control card panel. Now we'll again put one more card as K2GG. Here we will enter as KAAX. This specifies that the reduced matrix with the name KAAX has to be used, stored in the cantilever DMIG underscore ax.pch file. So if I open this file on a notepad, so there are lots of things are there, you can see. So here you can see that KAX data are entered here. So we'll input it there that KAX data entries are there. So we have to use those data entries for the super elements. So we'll provide this information to the software that these entries we want for my optimization process. So here we will enter KAAX, click return, and then we will select P2G. So we'll click on next, go to P2G and select PAX in P2G to activate the PAX entries, same as KAX entries. So I'll return it again and again return to go back to the main menu. Then we will set up the optimization in the model with the super elements. So I'll go to analysis page optimization, click on topology, enter the design variable name as topo, click on the properties and select the design properties for the optimization. Select the type as shell element, so P shell. Click on create. Go to parameters and from the minimum member of, toggle it down to minimum dimensions of 1.2. Click on update. So this parameter is get updated. Now click on return to go back to the optimization panel. Now we will create the responses for volume fraction and compliances. So I'll click on response on third column, first row. Enter the response name as volume fraction. Select the response type as volume fraction. Keep all the other parameters as it is and click on create. Again, I will create one more response as compliances. Select the response type as compliances and click on create. So my two responses are being defined, as you can see. Now we will apply the, so click on return to go back to the optimization panel. Now we will create the constraints. So I'll click on response, then just below that response I'll click on constraints, the constraint panel. Enter the constraint name as, let's say, constraints. Select the response type as volume fraction. Check the box in front of upper bound and enter the value as 0.4. My constraint is, I will show you the constraint. My constraint is the upper bound constraint of 40% of the designable volume. So I will select that. Click on create. So my constraint is defined. Now I will define the objective. So my objective is to minimize the compliances for the load step which is defined earlier, and click on create. So my objective is also generated. Now I will save this file on the same folder but with a different name and run the optimization process. So to run the optimization process, I'll again go to analysis page, OptiStruct, and click on export option to all, run option to optimization this time. Memory option I will keep as 1 GB, that is sufficient, and click on OptiStruct to start the solver. So as you can see, it is giving an error that I have changed the file. You can see I have changed the directory, that's why it's not saving. So I will close it. I'll go to save, model, tutorial 2, run 1, and click on save. OptiStruct, keeping all the parameters as it is, and click on OptiStruct. So I intentionally did that to show that what error it can show. So if you change the folder, it will not get the PCH file. So you have to specify the folder from where it can get that PCH file. So if you are solving in the same folder, you can directly give the PCH file name. Otherwise, if you are solving in any other different folder, you have to specify the full path. So my optimization job is completed. So I will click on results. To view the results in Hyperview. So from where I have to remove the material, I will see this one. So again I will select the last iteration, that is the 36. The same way, contour, elemental density, averaging method to simple, and in ISO enter to 0.3. So if I on the features and transparency, you can see even though removing the elements where the forces and constraints are applied, we can get a proper results of the optimization by reducing the model using super elements. So I have created the super elements, and with the help of that I have done the topology optimization. So in this way you can solve topology optimization using DMIG card. I'll close this, click on new. We'll see the next tutorial. So topology optimization of hook with stress constraints. So in this tutorial, a topology optimization is performed on a bracket hook model with shell elements. The structural model with loads and constraints applied is shown in the figure below. The objective is to minimize the volume of the material used in the model subject to certain stress constraints. Topology optimization is performed to find the optimal material placement and reduce the volume. The optimization normalizes each element according to its density and lets you remove elements that have low density, that is towards the view region. The structural model is loaded into Hypermesh desktop or in HyperWorks Student Edition. The constraints, loads, subcases and material properties are already defined in the model. The topology design variable and the optimization problem setup will be defined using Hypermesh, and OptiStruct will be used to determine the optimal material layout. The results will then be reviewed in Hyperview. The optimization problem is stated as: my objective is to minimize the weighted compliances, and my constraints are to minimize the von Mises stress should not be greater than 420, it should be less than that, and my volume fraction should be less than 0.3, that is a 30% of actual volume. My design variables are the density of each element in the design space. The process which is going to be covered in this tutorial are setting up the optimization problem in HyperWorks Student Edition or in Hypermesh, and post-process the results in Hyperview. So we'll open the HyperWorks Student Edition. First check the model type. So this is the FEM file. So we will import this the same way which we have in which we have imported the model in first part. So I will click on import solver deck. Select the file type as OptiStruct. Browse the file. Keep all the other parameters as it is and click on import. So this will import my model. My forces and constraints display options are quite large, so I will reduce them. So we'll go to analysis page. On analysis page, go to forces, change the magnitude percentage to size and reduce the size to say 5. So now you can see the display arrow displaying the forces and constraint is reduced. As you can see on the model browser, my material, property, component, load collector load step is predefined. So I will directly start with defining the optimization. So first thing, we will create the design variable for the topology optimization. So I'll go to analysis, optimization, click on topology, make sure the radio button create is selected. So enter the name of the design variable as shells. Select the property of design and base. So design and base, these are the two areas from where we want to scoop out the material. So all the individual have to decide from where you have to scoop out the materials. That depends on individual person. Accordingly, you have to divide that components into different properties and different components, and then define it in the optimization process. Select the type as shell, P-shell elements. Click on create. So my design variable is created, and go to parameters radio button. Enter the minimum dimension value as 1 and the maximum dimension value to be 21. Here, instead of creating a response and then defining it in a constraint, we can directly provide the constraint here also, stress constraint. So we'll enter directly here as stress constraint 420. It should not go beyond 420. Click on update. So this is one more parameter which you can activate. Click return to go back to the optimization panel. Then the next step is to define responses. So my first response is volume fraction. Response type to volume fraction. Instead of total, I will select the property and select the property of design and base. Click create. Then my next response will be weighted compliances. The response type will be weighted compliances. I will select all the load cases and click create. So I have defined two responses. One is volume fraction, the other one is weighted compliances. Then my next step is to define the constraints. So I will click return to go back to the optimization panel and select deconstraint to define the constraints for this optimization process. So we will constraint to volume fraction. Enter the response type as volume fraction. Check the box in front of upper bound and enter the value as 0.3. It should not go beyond 0.3. That is 30%. So this will constrain the volume of the result to be 30% of the original volume of the design space. So click create. Click return to go back to the optimization panel. Click on the objective. My objective is to minimize the weighted compliances. Click create. So my objective is defined. So I have defined all the parameters for the optimization, that is design variable, responses, constraints and objective. So now I will save this file. As tutorial 3. Name it as hook. Go to analysis, OptiStruct, export option to all, run option to optimization, memory option I will increase it to 2000 so my model will get solved early, and click on OptiStruct to start the solver window. So you can see my optimization process has started. It's processing quite fast. So higher the degrees of freedom will increase the solver speed. Now you can see my job completed message has come. In the optimization, always make sure that two message always appears, that is optimization has converged, and feasible design, that is all constraints are violated, message comes. So we'll click on results to view the results in Hyperview. Same as the previous tutorials. Select the last iteration. Contour, element densities, averaging method to simple, apply. ISO, element densities, simple and apply. Enter it to 0.3, features and transparency. So these are the areas from where you can scoop out the material. If you click on the transient animation mode, so you can see how it's removing the material step by step. So here you can see the iterations values. So from 1, 2, 3, 4 and it's going on. So if I reduce it drastically, or I'll increase it a little bit. So I'll make it as 5. So you can see the material is getting removed by iteration in this way, and the final design is in the last phase, that is on the 40th. This is the base, this is the final. So iteration by iteration, if you want to see the first, second, third, and in this way it goes on. So on 20th iteration it has removed this much amount of material, and in this way it goes. So this is the optimized model. With the defined stress constraints. So I'll close this. I'll click on new.